This is DaVinci, and we've just arrived in the pasture, and he's already nickering and walking up to us, and this is very typical of his behavior. He is very talkative. Hi, buddy, and wants to know what's going on, which is quite a switch from when we first got him. He was at an auction through a brokerage, and then he was purchased by another broker and brought to Florida. And I kind of have a feeling he was an auction reject, just kind of wandered from auction to auction. And when the people brought him to Florida, they realized that it's quite possible he could have been drugged. He was not the horse they thought he was. And he was obviously suffering from some kind of post-traumatic stress disorder, post-traumatic stress syndrome, and nobody could touch him. Nobody could get near him. And he has a split in his ear, and he was covered in scars and had just everything wrong with him that you can imagine. And he was just in rough shape. And at the time, he was 5 years old, and he's a gelding, and nobody's really certain what his bloodlines are or what breeding he is. But he's been my little miracle. He's just been amazing. When we first got him, he was obviously untouchable. Couldn't be haltered, you couldn't get near him. He would just catch sight of a human and take off running. And he was, again, my miracle horse, because he learned to paint in about 11 sessions, which was within like a 2-week period, because it didn't involve me touching him. And it was such a relief to him to not be touched. So I first began letting him hold objects, and he could hold them. Good boy. And as you can see, it doesn't involve me touching him. And so I would introduce an object so he could just touch it. Good boy, good boy. And he loved that. And then I would introduce another object, and he would check that out. And none of this involved me touching him. And it gave him a chance to really feel like he had some control over his environment. Wonderful. Oh, yeah. But the painting provided this amazing foundation for me to work with him in other ways, and he's doing really well. Good boy. So part of his recovery from the post-traumatic stress that he endured, and nobody quite knows what happened, just something really terrible. He had all the symptoms, and he was a horse that was just completely undone by life. And so I started also, along with the paintbrush, introducing other objects and allowing him to manipulate them with his mouth. Good job. And also with his feet, also with his hooves. Good boy. Good boy. Along with teaching him to manipulate objects, I would teach him to target an object, like the sponge on the end of my lunge whip. And once he learned how to target, I could take him anywhere without a halter. So here's another really cute thing about DaVinci's personality, is that he loves to stand on things and can even squeeze his little body on like a 20 by 20 inch block. Good boy. And these are all things that he's just volunteered himself to do. Let's get to all 4 feet. There he goes. Very good boy. So this is my DaVinci. He's just completely blowing my mind every day, how he's allowing me to touch him when we couldn't touch him and we couldn't get near him. And I really owe all of this to him first learning how to paint. It was something that changed his associations about people and about objects, and it really was the stepping stone to him becoming an amazing painter. And I'm so proud of his paintings because it truly represents, to me, transformation of a horse that has a new lease on life. Yeah, that's you.